Jenny.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast episode with Inspired Athletics and Dr. Grant Norland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me about, we were just talking about this a minute ago off camera. Tell me about your whole experience with, you just had a foot surgery. You're coming off of that, and we're not going to name any names, but we had some advice maybe from our provider or our surgeon that we didn't need to really do much in terms of treatment afterwards. And just fill us in. Start with, work backwards and just tell me the original, like why you had foot surgery, what happened, and go from there.
Well, sure. So I had foot surgery basically 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been dealing for a year with these two issues with my first and second joint on my right foot. And they were separate issues, but it wasn't getting any better. So I saw several physicians, podiatrists, and then this last surgeon I saw just said he'd go in there and clean out the joints. And when he went in there was more to do, and he had to put a pin in one of them. And, the recovery was far more involved than I anticipated, just in terms of pain and not being able to be very mobile. But I spent 6 weeks in the little walking sandal boot type thing. And then
Very fashionable.
Very fashionable. He called it a sandal, and I thought that'll be cute, but it was not.
Not cute. Yes.
Just black Velcro in the summer, hobbling around.
We love that.
Yes. Yeah. The whole goal was to be able to wear cute shoes. But
Yes. Hey, that's important.
Still trying to get there.
We're working on it.
Yes.
We're working on it. We're almost there.
Yes, we're getting there.
Yes.
And so, then when I went in for my post-op 6-week appointment, he's just said, it's looking good. And I didn't even ask. He just said, I don't think you need any PT.
Right.
And I didn't know any better. I mean, even though I know the therapy world, but he just felt like I was fine, but I just walked around limping and in a lot of pain. So, we had a few friends who had seen you for dry needling, which is what originally I thought maybe that will, help me kind of turn the corner.
Right.
But then when I came in to see you and just sort of had the reality of I was getting better, but still in pretty rough shape.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like I know without seeing you and having physical therapy, I would have recognized all the issues going on and the kind of bad habits I had developed with walking and how I use my foot. And not that it was intentional, but just that happened as a result of having a really immobile foot for so long.
Right. Well, you said a lot there. I think that is one of the key things is what you alluded to is like how it affects the rest of your body.
Mm-hmm.
You lose mobility and you think, it's just my toe. I need to just get that moving. But when you do have a limitation there, it affects how you use the rest of your leg. Mm-hmm. You were not using that leg functionally for quite a while. And when you do that, it gets weaker, the leg does, and then it gets harder to load. And you develop this kind of cascade of things that happen that are all kind of debilitating in a way that I think get overlooked by some of maybe the surgeon who's so focused on what's going on at your foot and what's going on at your toe. And you're like, I fixed that.
Yes.
But doesn't see the rest of the whole picture of how that affects the rest of your body. And I think that's where, PT comes in terms of recognizing what those things are and then addressing all of the underlying things that go into that that affect how your leg functions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think, like you said, that was maybe eye-opening for you.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've seen that.
Yes.
And you've seen progress.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about that. What's been the improvements or things that you've seen that are different since you've started doing PT?
Well, just the awareness of how I am walking and, moving, whether it's, my legs and quads and not just my foot. I mean, it always just felt like it was about my toe. And now I'm just realizing like whole body, my abs, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So And I know when I'm like, quote unquote, doing it all right.
Yeah.
All the things I'm supposed to be doing and the exercises and whatnot, I just have these glimmers of, well, this is me. This is what it was like before this all began.
Right. It's coming back.
It is coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's
And you were a very fast walker,
very fast walker.
which you've had to adjust a little bit so
Yes.
that yes.
Yes. And that has been really hard to not be able to walk as fast as I used to and be able
Right.
to do that for exercise. And I've had to avoid one friend who's a really good fast walker because I know if I want to do that again, then I kind of forget all the good things that we worked on in PT. And then, or I just, not intentionally forget, but I don't do them. And then I start having the pain again. So.
Right. Yeah. There's kind of that fine line of, pushing it to the edge
Yes.
and then going across that
Yes.
line. And I think that's one of the things that, you've expressed some of your frustrations at times of like, this takes a while.
Yes.
This is a slow process. And like I've told you, like, especially with foot surgeries and things like that, it's a little different animal than other operations. It can just take a little longer to heal. And it's sometimes is a frustrating process, but those incremental gains over time eventually lead to what we were just talking to today. You just said, well, I certainly couldn't have done that.
Right.
Every time it's kind of it's still not all the way better, which we know it's not going to be. But, when you look back at what's the overall progress from 2 months ago, it's pretty large.
It is. It really is. It really is. And I know I would not be here had I not started working with you and just developing so much more awareness. And that alarms me if I think, had I not, I don't know where I'd be right now. But
right. Yeah.
So, yes.
Probably still not walking very fast.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit of a limp.
Yes.
What would be your message to other people in your situation? You said, it's kind of funny, you said you've become a little bit of an evangelist for this process, right? That you maybe weren't previously totally aware of even.
No.
Like that this was a thing, right?
Right.
And so, you're probably not alone in that situation in terms of not being aware of what PT can do in situations like this. And what would you say to someone in your shoes or someone that that might be dealing with something similar?
I would say even before you consider surgery, go and see a PT, because I think that I don't know that I necessarily could have avoided surgery, but I would just love to have seen you beforehand and just had you to say, nope, this is what you need to do, versus if I think back, I wonder if I could have avoided this altogether. That would be number one. But then many people do just have to have the surgery done, because if your joint's damaged, it is. But I would say start seeing a PT as soon as possible. And just from the standpoint that if you go in and the therapist says, you know what, you don't need me, you're good, just keep doing what you're doing, that's wonderful news. But if not, you get to catch the situation before it progresses in a way that you have to, work hard to undo all of the bad things that have happened as a result.
Undo bad habits. Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great point too. And I wasn't even thinking of that, but like what you alluded to is seeing a PT before you even, just to get an opinion.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of situations, now that you bring that up, where surgeries can be avoided if you kind of know how to attack it.
Yes.
And not in all cases. Sometimes you have mechanical things going on that can't be fixed without, some type of surgical intervention. And that's why those guys are in business, right? But I think it's very important to get that opinion before, because there are a lot of times where you're like, well, if you just tweak these things, get this moving a little better, get these things a little bit stronger, and adjust how you're doing some stuff, sometimes you can avoid those things altogether. And I never saw you before, so I can't speak intelligently to that in your situation, but I have seen that a lot of times and seen people personally that, have been considering that and have been able to avoid it by doing some of the right things with therapy. So.
So that would be my recommendation to anyone. And just that, a lot can be done functionally without having to
Yes.
do any cutting or.
Exactly. Now tell us all your favorite TENS unit story.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Okay.
All right. We're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Jenny, thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
And keep being an evangelist for the profession of physical therapy.
Yes.
We're here for you.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.